All right. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Heavenly Father, God, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Lord, we thank you for this day. God, I ask you blessings upon this meeting, that you have your way in this place. Keep your hands upon all of us as we try to in Jesus' name. Amen.
is roll call. Roxanne Tuskegee here.
Right here. Very good.
One minute here. Before we get into anything, can I have somebody volunteer to take the minutes for tonight's meeting? It's the King's absence. Did I say I did them last week?
Who's the newest person up there?
Pick someone.
Shouldn't be that bad, Ronnie.
Anytime I can help.
Right on your agenda. We got extra.
Need some note paper, I got some.
You don't need to, the minutes for the department head, you just attach the report, so. Yeah. We have no approval for minutes. I was gonna say. We didn't print them out, so we'll table it. Alright, so we'll table that until the next meeting, which will be 2 weeks from tonight. So, 1 week's meeting. We'll go to new business, so department heads. We'll start with the emergency management, the fire and EMS. All three of them at once.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Hello, everybody. In the month of February, we responded to 18 calls for service, 13 of which were medical aids, 5 fire service responses. Highlighted and 5 responded to Little Crew to Wakefield for a building fire. Actually on the street that I live in. Helped out some of my neighbors. We had 2 mutual aid calls, a full ambulance from Milton and 1 half crew from Milton that assisted me with the driver. So we continue to keep our mutual aid numbers down pretty good. So hopefully we can get those continuing to trend that way. We billed out $2,390 in ambulance billing. Some of the calls from February were billed after the first of the month, so noticed a significant drop in last month just because a lot of our calls ended up at the end of the month. So by the time the bill was processed, it ended up billed out in March. Deputy Chief Bruce Manchester started with the department last month. Deputy Chief Manchester will assist with training in like our technology resources, like some of the apps and our reporting software and stuff like that we have. He's a very experienced firefighter, fire officer, EMS provider. He worked for many years in Farmington. He left Farmington recently. He's deputy fire chief there as well. So we're pretty excited to have him on board. He's already been getting into it, helping with training and stuff like that. So he's a big addition. We also welcome to call firefighter Karina. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name. She lives here in town. She's very excited. She's new to the fire service, but she's very excited and eager to learn. She's already expressed interest in taking a firefighter 1 class this fall, which helps us segue into another point. The state of New Hampshire has authorized us to host a firefighter 1 class here in town. It's the first one hosted in the immediate area in the last 16 years. So it's going to be a big benefit to the department. We have, it looks like 7 members interested in taking the class, which is going to essentially double our number of certified firefighters in the town, so that's a huge benefit. We have a couple more applications that we've received. Both of them are certified firefighters, and one of them is also an advanced DT. So we'll be processing those over the next couple of weeks. So we're doing pretty well as far as that goes. As far as the emergency management goes, I forgot to put it on here. We are working on some grant opportunities right now. Steve, one of our members, is a very experienced grant writer. He's going to help us out with some emergency management grants. Our big target right now is to get a generator for the school. The school is pre-wired for a generator, but does not have one. And I feel like as far as the emergency management standpoint goes, that's our biggest priority right now, is that will be our shelter if needed. We don't currently have a generator. So it looks like it's was very favorable for us to obtain that grant, so I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes.
Great.
Any questions?
Did we get a copy of that?
Oh, you don't get a copy?
Sorry.
I have fire. No, I read it. Sorry, thank you. I didn't see that on the tape.
Highway, yeah. Yes, you did, I got it, yeah. I'm more than happy to
There you
do
go.
that.
So we hooked up anywhere here?
And you go there. So it's Dan Phillips, PHRMLLIPS.
I'm sorry.
So, resident road agent. And this is from February 10th through March 10th. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about snow and all that stuff, so hopefully we'll to talk about it next month. We pushed back the corners with piles with the loader. We had to push back and shelve for plow runs. Washed, greased, oiled the sanders and trucks. We had to plow and treat a 3-inch storm on February 13th. Plowed and treated a 7.5-inch storm February 15th, 16th, and 17th. That was that 3-day run. Then we had to push back the corners and piles and stuff again with the loader. Clean up around Old Town Hall, municipal building, fire department, police department. Push back the plow runs again. Excuse me. Ordered 4 loads of salt, which currently we have down on the salt shed. Hopefully it stays there. We washed and greased and oiled the sanders and trucks again. We plowed and treated a 3-inch storm February 27th. We treated all the dirt roads after the rain that we had a couple weekends ago. I went around and spoke to all the contractors in town that are currently working right now. We have a couple houses being built down here on Durham. We have one down on Lake Shore, and we have one over on Pinkham. I stopped and talked to all of them. Let them know that we're going to be posting the roads, and we're going to post it by Wednesday. Now that doesn't mean that if there's a morning that's cold, like we'll say Thursday, it's supposed to be 26 in the morning, 40 for a high, and cloudy. There may be a truck that you'll see come into town to do a floor, but we're not going to let them come in on a day that it's going to wreck a road. So I did go around and talk to all of them, and they're all on board with us posting the roads on Wednesday. We had a light snow March 1st, so we went out and treated all the pavement after that. We had a windy day Friday. We were out chasing trees. It really wasn't that bad for 54 miles an hour for gusts, but we did take care of all the branches and trees that had fallen down. And then today we got into our gravel pile, and we started putting some gravel on New Durham Road, and we're going to keep a close eye on the dirt roads. Hopefully we don't run into any soft spots or anything. Hopefully we've got a little bit of rain coming. We've got some 60-degree weather. Hopefully the thaw goes quickly, and we don't have to have the roads posted too long. Any questions? That's it.
PD,
Scott Ferguson, HG Band President. So this month we were damn relatively busy. We had 24 incidents reported that we handled. No arrests were made. 2 motor vehicle accidents were handled, and 5 motor vehicle citations. We continued with the completion or execution of mutual aid agreements with surrounding communities. At this point, we have mutual aid with all of our abutters. And those beyond our abutting have mutual aid agreements. They just haven't received them back yet. So I'm just waiting to get those back signed by their local chiefs.
We conducted and will continue to conduct training on IMC, which is the database system we have. Spent quite a bit of time with the new secretarial staff, clerical staff for the police department, trying to merge her downstairs now as well as the treasurer's position. So we spent quite a bit of time, although it's not necessarily in February, but tail end of February coming into March, teaching her and working on the database system and her making progress there. I continue, I'm a firearms instructor here in the States, and I have to continue my recertifications for that. Require me to be out of town for a day, and to be at the police academy for that. In April, I've got to go back there for a day to finalize the certificate, my recertification for that. They've changed certification for instructor service for the police academy. It's now a 2-day program, whereas before you would go for 4 hours to keep your recertification, then you can continue as an instructor. Now, they've got an online portal for a portion of it, and of course, an in-person portion of it, and then you also have to go to the police academy and teach the new recruit staff to maintain your certifications. So eventually, once we get staffing, and I can translate those ancillary duties to somebody else, and I'll give up my certifications, but for right now, it's beneficial for us for me to still have those. From the point that we do hire people, I can maintain and take care of what they need taken care of instead of having to rely on another community to help us out. With that said, I've also had a couple of communities, local communities that have reached out to us as well, looking for my assistance to help them with firearms and things of that nature. Continued recruitment, put a blast out on a couple of local Facebook, New Hampshire Facebook police pages, what have you. Thanks to Tim for putting together a very nice formal presentation, if you will, one-page presentation, kind of outlining. He made the whole layout of it and that put the content in. Got very good feedback on that. Had a few candidates inquire, certified guys inquire about the position, but at this point I haven't had any formal application for it. I suspect probably after town meeting is when you'll see most police officers usually see what happens within local municipalities and where the governing board goes as far as that goes. So, I conducted cruiser inventory and got repair quotes for our cruisers. At this point, we have 2 that are uninspected, not on the road. We did just find out that car 2 was going to be in need of a transmission. That was something fairly recent. I was driving car 2 for a little bit and noticed some noise in the powertrain, so I brought it down to H transmission. He took it out for a ride, put it on his computer, we drove around for a little bit, and basically came back and said that it's the start of the transmission failing. He said the car can still be driven, but then probably within a year, then it will need a transmission. So, quote on that, obviously I put it in here, but the quote on that was $6,000. Car 3, car 4, I put quotes in here as well. Car 4 is currently inspected. Car 3 is currently inspected, but needs work to be safe for the roadway. So right now we have car 1 and car 5 that are essentially good to go. Car 1 is making a bizarre noise in the front end. Sounds like a bushing or bushings. I haven't got that in yet to get that looked at. But that's on the front side where it was involved in the accident. I did go to the body shop to fix the car and try to see if they were willing to address it, but 20,000 miles and 3 years later, this and that. So, but I tried. Beyond that, I do have one question for the board. And I know I brought it up with Mike, but we had a whole bunch of old Taser X.6s. That's the first gen Taser. They came out, they're actually Taser 10 now, so they're 10 models away from the original. They don't service the original anymore, they don't make parts for it, they don't do anything with it. So we have, bear with me. We have 11 of them. Most of them are in off. Most of them are broken.
whether that be the LCD display or the actual electronic operating systems inside. There were 2, maybe 3 switching around batteries and stuff. I think functional, but again, we don't carry them, and we don't service them anymore. Farmington does still carry them, so I would have Farmington and ask them if they had any interest in purchasing them from us. They are willing to buy them from us for $300. Like I said, the tasers themselves can serve us no purpose. Should we not sell them? I would look through the rules and program, so I'll throw that up to you guys if you want to discuss it further at a later point.
I'm fine with
So,
Yeah.
okay. With that said, how would you like to keep it strategic first? We want to meet out to the town?
The town.
All right, I'll speak with them.
So just to make that formal, so if somebody makes a motion, that's
I'll make a motion with some comment.
all those in favor?
That's all I got for you.
I do have the town clerk, tax collector, report, so on the court side, for the month of February, she's paying just roughly over 58,000. And on the tax collector, she took in just over, it was like 62,000, that's almost 62,000.
I have a few things to add to that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's go talk to Teresa today a little bit. Let's go actually want me to relay the fact that the machine, the voting machine we're going to be using, it costs $600, or actually it's going to cost us $1,200 this year to have it calibrated for the selection. 600 of that goes from here, will be going towards the school for their election portion. This will be something that will need to happen though at every election.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we're going to have to budget for at least $600 for calibration by the state.
So is it one calibration per year? Or is it
For election.
Per election?
Per election.
Okay, that's what we need to know.
Yes. So if you have a primary and then a general for both.
So then we can 2,400, well, no. Would it be 2,400?
That would be 12, so that'd be 1,200 because we're doing one section, like we're doing the school section this time
Yeah.
and the town.
Okay, so it's $600 a pop from the town.
Right.
In any election.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, perfect.
She spent she spent 8 hours printing the town ballot, 8 hours printing the school ballot, and then another 8 hours doing the zoning amendments. This could all be done because her and her deputy were able to work together. She spent about 45 hours this past 2 weeks on the election itself. That doesn't include what's going to happen tomorrow. So, just want to get out there so that way all the residents know what's going on, town clerk and tax collector. If you have any questions as to what she's doing?
All right, yes, for the comment, have you guys looked at per hour how much you're spending and have staff print the ballots versus the cost of having them printed? I mean, historically, we've always paid someone else to print them. You're taking valuable resources from the clerks that are already tied up and people are not able to get to them, and we're tying them up by doing all of these, having them print ballots out. Plus, it's the wear and tear on your machines, it's the cost of the paper. It may be more beneficial to look at the kind of cost analysis as to why we have it printed and put that money in the budget to have it printed instead of having staff do it.
And I don't know how for sure, but I know that Teresa had commented, and I don't know if you know, Tim, how much it would be cost for
So
the ballot company to produce the ballots for us versus us doing them ourselves.
it would be about $1,200 for the company to do it for us. And the biggest reason why we were unable to do that was because she didn't have the money in her budget, primarily because the machine could be calibrated.
Is the money in the budget that's proposed for 2025?
I don't think she put that in there.
I think she did, no, we do. So that's something we're going to have to look into town meeting. I think $1,200 to have printer look into the cost analysis.
But I know in the past with the other machine, there was always we always had expense in the budget for elections or whatever. So I just assumed one was taking over from having to go to the game.
Well, like I said, yeah, this time we weren't expecting the total of the cost, and I believe was got somewhere along the way, we actually ended up paying a little bit of money on the election budget this year, so.
Yes, because we're going through 3 elections, so
Right.
that's why.
So we
Which
do.
is always funky how that works. So, thanks, that was a good update. So nothing, we don't have anything for the treasurer, she's still
I talked to her a little bit.
Perfect,
As you know, we haven't had treasurer for about 2 months now.
yes.
And right now she is in the process of getting caught up. When I talked to her last, she was at the end of January.
Right, yes.
So she was hopeful by the end of this week to be completely caught up to date, which will be good. So the town will be again where it should be, where it needs to be.
So yes, so currently we don't have a report for that because she is trying to get us up to date. So the next one we have is the CEO. We don't have a report on that. So Mike, that was what I was going to ask you, to follow up with Carl and make sure that we have some type of report each month.
Yep.
And it's based off of the prior month, so we have plenty of time before you get to the second Monday to come up with, have that report. And he can just send that to Kim, or leave it with Kim for us.
I can just real quick, what Scott say that. What Scott, I know that Carl's planning on being at the ZBA meeting to give us an update there as well.
Okay.
Because the board, or the ZBA had asked him to do that, so.
Right, and he has been coming to the planning board, it's just, it would be nice for the full circle to come to the department.
Absolutely.
So I think that covers all of that. So interestingly enough, I know we're like 10 months away from the Christmas party. Well, this was because, so Bonnie was stating that the rec department had their meeting last week and they went on and scheduled all their dates for the upcoming year. And so the rec department's party is December 13th, Bonnie?
Yes.
So it was just, I wanted to make note that that's when we would have the holiday employee party. So just, so we have that.
Save the date.
Yeah, well, just because it's on the same date, so that way nobody else is, it's just easier, and so we're good to go. Look at that, we're 10 months ahead of time. So that's why that's on there. Pens. I'm assuming.
Okay, Kim gave me this paper the other day, and she asked if maybe we'd be interested in getting them. A lot of places have pens that they're trying to have out, you know, tax stuff or whatever, with like the town notes on it. There's prices on there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay, so, well.
I do have a whole bunch of those downstairs from the police department.
Middleton?
And it's the same flyer and everything. No, that flyer is their pens, if you guys want something to look at to.
Actually, what Scott, if anybody wants to, this is one of the pens that came from them.
So-
That stole from Kim, Philadelphia, so.
So it became nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, she was aware of stealing it, so yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we can take a look, I don't know if somebody wants to make a motion, vote on that, that's totally up to everybody here. What's the thoughts?
Let's see how Saturday goes.
Yeah.
See that money, we'll table that for now.
I do have an item I should have added at the beginning, was sweatshirts, so in my other coat pocket, but I did go back and with Kim and look to see what the cost was for the sweatshirts along with the logo, and I think it was around, it was less than $20 sweatshirt, so we have maybe 15, I think, or 20 sweatshirts that we would look to sell. So I'm just looking for what we would potentially want to sell those for, 25, 30, I don't know. That's and I know we had discussed prior to this is to have that, we're going to donate them to the rec department. I think that was the idea, donate that to the rec department. They get the revenue, they get the money.
I'll make a motion right now to sell the sweatshirts for $25 per sweatshirt, and for that to go towards the Rex Fund to help with all the activities they have for throughout the year. And
Somebody want to second that?
Will this be set up at the town meeting, Bonnie? We could do that, yeah.
Yeah,
I know you have snacks. We are going to have snacks and water, drinks, coffee, water, at town meeting. So we can
yeah,
add
we have all,
sweatshirts to that.
yeah, we have them all right next door, so that, we can- yeah. So the motion's out there, so, Mike seconded, all those in favor? I don't have anything else. Anybody? Tracy?
Do we have an update on the sign?
Oh, yes.
I thought I'd put that on the message. I did talk to Scott last week, and they're just waiting for the snow to subside and warmer weather, but the sign is done.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so probably within a month.
Yeah, I would think
I was
so.
actually gonna say something to him today, but he wasn't there around the time. So, because I looked and saw the snow was gone.
I do have one other comment for you, Tim, or just in general, for the Sunrise Lake Village District. Can we get on the calendar to take the town hall for May 17th from like 8 to 12? They're gonna have the SLBD
What's it, May
May 17th.
17th?
In from 8 to 12, they're going to have their district meeting.
This is the Sunrise Village Lake District.
Yeah, SLBD, yeah. Janet sent one to the regular BOS, so I could still forward it to you. I didn't see it yet. I don't know if she called and I said, I want to make sure that
I'll get on the calendar. The only thing I want to add, if I can real quick, is that voting is tomorrow and we want as many people as possible to show up and vote. And then town meeting, which is going to be on Saturday, and we're hoping for a huge turnout so that way everybody can have their voice heard. And that's from 9 till whenever at the Middleton Elementary School.
And there will be snacks and drinks available.
And sweatshirts.
And sweatshirts.
Any questions, comments? Dave, you're here tonight. I haven't seen you in a while.
He doesn't want to be on the committee.
I wasn't gonna ask. I wasn't. I believe you're looking for something. I can help you out with that afterwards. Okay? Your question? By all means.
Thank you, Heather Kremen. So I've just received the town book and I was going through some of the warrant articles and I wanted to talk a little bit about Article 1 where there's a proposed amendment to the change in the planning board.
Yeah.
And that one in particular has gotten a lot of traction on social media. There's a lot of comments about it. That's regarding removing the family compound from the zoning ordinance. So I did pull the ordinance and I just want to read what it says because I was actually quite surprised. So the preface to Article 23 for family compound says, it is recognized that the family is an integral part of society as a whole and in Middleton in particular. Family businesses are commonplace, as too is family involvement in non-business activities such as worship, recreation, and tending to the needs of the home. There are many forces at work that act to drive families apart, including the labor market, ease of travel, technology, cost of living, and societal pressures. We are living longer than ever. Families can often span 4 generations. The increase in real estate prices may make it difficult for families to spend blocks of time together by interfering with the financial ability of families and by separating parcels of land in close proximity to one another. It is with the above observations as the backdrop that the family compounds are provided a place in the Middleton landscape. So keeping this in mind, I want to ask the board members, what is your position on removing that from this article? And you can tell us why.
I can tell you why I voted for it. I voted for it to be placed on the ballot so that people could decide. I personally have 3 children that can't move out of my home because of the economy. So I would love to have a tiny house. Don't tell my neighbor over there. But I just wanted the people to be able to vote on it. I made that clear the night that we did that.
Yeah.
So I'll speak next. I'm on the planning board, so I'm familiar with this. So there are some nuances with the, you have to read through the whole family compound because family compound, you're allowed to have 3 buildings. Nobody is allowed to charge rent, pay any money, amount of money. So that is a huge, and we are going to be, currently we have 2 in town, potentially a 3rd one coming. We will be seeking like affidavits to make sure that the people who are living there are not charged any rent or whatever. Whereas, because you notice there are some other amendments in there that we put more language or more open for the ADU.
Yes.
So basically you can have an attached ADU, so you have your primary residence, you have an attached ADU, and you can have a detached ADU, which ends up being like 3 buildings, which is similar. So the family compound's a little bit more difficult to monitor because of the requirements that it has around it. That's why. So, but we are kind of taking that into effect on the ADU side.
As far as family compounds go, I'm in favor of them. And I can support that, so, or agree.
I'm the same way. I'm for them, you know, at the same time, my kids live with me and they wouldn't be able to afford to go out on their own and leave it open to the town to vote on that.
I'm disagreeing. I haven't really decided which way. I'm kind of, there's pros and cons, so I'm kind of on the fence. I guess I'll decide tomorrow.
Okay.
But, yeah,
Why
I'm
do
just
you-
kind of checking out more information on it and trying to see.
Well, I appreciate all of your responses. I did have another question. There was some similar removing of the in-law apartment, and there are some differences between the in-law apartment and the ADUs. Particularly, the in-law apartment doesn't have the requirement that it be an independent living facility, which the ADUs do require. So by removing that, you are now removing that option for some of our residents as well to have in-law apartments as opposed to having to go the ADU route. So there are more restrictions on the ADU route that are not present in the in-law apartments. So I just wanted to see if you have what your sort of position is on removing the in-law apartments piece as well.
So
Again, I'm pretty much the same. I think we're heading that direction if the economy stays the way it is. But again, majority rules and it came up and I think that the people should vote on it.
So I can tell you, we looked at that, we had Stratford Regional come up and guide us through that. And I think if it was an issue with having any more restricted on the ADU, which I don't think so. My opinion, when we were discussing it, it didn't come up as to say that this was going to be more difficult in the ADU, because we all know that, and if anything, I think we made it a little bit more, because now you can have a detached ADU, you can have an attached ADU, which is before, I think we were only allowed to have one ADU. Now it's going to be potentially have two, unattached and one attached.
Honestly, I don't know enough about it to make an educated comment. I wish I did. I'll do more research.
Yeah, same as them. I do know that I have a couple of friends that have had additions put on to have their parents come in and live with them as well. So it's the same thing. I'd probably like to see how the town would go on it as well.
I also don't know much about it.
Okay. Thank you. You guys want to try to keep going from there?
Can I ask where you got that first part that you were reading from?
That's right out of the town ordinance, it's page 57, article 28. Yeah, it's pretty rare, I read laws for a living, so it's pretty rare when you see a purpose with something, to find a heart in the law is really challenging, and it's just right out there. So it really struck me, and I said, well, let me talk about this and let people know this is what the heart of our town is saying we are. And is that something that we wanted to be moving forward? I think that's something important for voters to know when they're going and looking at these events.
Now you all see why I don't win many arguments.
So I was also looking at warrant article 4. This is the highway budget, and I just have some questions. So if you go, it's page 13 in the town book. Yeah.
And well,
I have
looking out, I just want to point out that we will have the books here tomorrow for voting, and they are available online as well on the town website. If you go to documents and about Middleton, you can download it there as well.
So on page 13, where the article carries over and they put down all the itemized pieces, I just was curious as to why the block grant is listed in here and as part of the taxable base that we're going to be increasing the tax for if it's a granted item.
Because you have to raise and appropriate it. That's the part of the process. You have to raise and appropriate for the block grant, even though we get the money that comes in.
So it's also in the budget itself, so it's already being put and as a line item in the budget. So if you go to the page 21, under appropriations, it's line item, the highway and
Yes,
streets.
yeah, yes, because it's a revenue, you always have to, we have to raise and appropriate the money even though it's a revenue offset. That's a DRA rule. I don't know why, but it's a DRA rule.
It just, when I look at this, I look at it and I go, we have the numbers in twice, and this is grant money. Why are we taxing the people twice for grant money? That's the way I read
It's,
it.
and I understand, it never made sense to me, but that's a DRA rule. And so I don't necessarily fully understand how that works, because you have to raise and appropriate, even though you're gonna get the money back. And it's like,
All right. So the last thing I wanted to look at was the independent auditor's report on page 35.
sure.
So we actually received an adverse
Yeah.
audit this year. And from what I could read from the letter, they provided essentially 3 reasons: that we were not reconciling to government standards,
Right.
that we were not providing information that was requested, and that the information we did provide was inadequate. So because these audits are required to be clean for a certain number of years in order to apply for grants, I just wanted to hear what led to this and what the plan is to fix this moving forward.
So what led to this is the turnover in the office next door. We worked closely with Jen, who is the auditor, and she told us that these findings were going to be on here. There's not much we can do about that. We are working to get that reconciled and get that corrected. And one of the other things that I think that's going to be helpful is hopefully if the townspeople pass it, is going to a new software system.
Has there been any talk about doing an interim audit? I know in other boards I sat on, this has happened, we've done interim audits so that you lessen that 3-year look back time and you can show that you're making some positive strides to try and improve.
So what will happen is, part of this was, so if you looked at what we spent on the audit last year, it was well above what we budgeted. And part of that is, they came in to help us get to a better point in place. We don't anticipate that happening now that Jen has kind of pointed out the issues and we've worked going forward to correct that. We will be reaching out to Jen to set up the audit for 2024. 2024, and all of it has to be, everything has to be entered into the system, and then she'll come in to audit. So for her to come and do an interim, I don't think that's going to be useful, and I don't believe we have it in the budget.
Oh, no, not even doing that, but have the town treasurer do an internal audit when they're done getting caught up. Find out, where we stand on things.
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
So if the town approves the software to do this, how long do you anticipate it getting up and running and being able to have that functioning?
So, so the software that we're looking to purchase, it was one of the recommended software packages from the auditor. So that was good. I think they weren't going to have time to us on their schedule until third quarter, which made sense because we need to get through the audit. We're a smaller town. There's a lot of municipalities are kind of going through software issues because I think BMI, which we don't use, is going out, and so and a lot of them are returning to looking at MRI, which is where it's going to go with, hopefully. So they said they couldn't do it until third quarter, which probably works out well for us, given the time frame and whatnot. Should turn over pretty quickly because we're a small municipality. That's what they told us, and stuff. We sat with them, and it should be better reporting because they are, because they work with municipalities there. Software we have now, Sage, is user-friendly.
And the third quarter is the fiscal or annual?
It's annual meeting, so it'd be third quarter, so it's for us January through December. So
Probably September, November.
September, yeah, we'd probably be looking at September, August to September. That would be my goal, is to have them in August so we can say we're good September.
And we can also sort of do some sort of pre-audits and then give you an idea of what the audit would be. So there are some other flexible options.
Well, the audit will happen prior to that, so Jen will probably come in June.
So we won't have the software or the new system for the audit.
Not for that audit, but that should set us up in a good spot to transfer over to the new to the new software.
Have we identified what we need to do to have a positive audit next time, even without the software being up and running?
Yeah, it's the reconciliation of Sage, of our accounting software, yes.
And there's a plan in place for that. There's a plan in place for that.
We are working on it, yes.
Thank you, I appreciate
No,
that.
the convoluted mess between the tax collector and going over to the safety program. So you could get like 5 different dog tags and they're chunked over in one lump sum. And then you have to figure out what made that lump sum. It's very, very intensive.
So one of those things is with this new software that we're going with, everything is going to talk electronically. So to make upstairs easier, downstairs easier, hopefully cleaner than on, yes.
All right, well, thank you, that's all that I
Yeah.
have, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anybody got anything else? Oh, geez.
Hi, Dave Mayor, resident. Noticed on the warrant articles tend to have like multiple things that I haven't seen before on the additional family housing, the campgrounds things, and the family compound. Is the board behind it, or planning board behind this program for individual residents, or what's the driving force behind that? Planning board. Planning board. Was that promoted by the planning board? Okay, so was there any residents, was there a group like, hey, this is really going to help Middleton? Or my concern is this possible any loophole for, let's say, multiple Airbnbs, those kind of establishments like campgrounds or anything like something like that being developed, using that as a loophole?
No, not that isn't, we didn't look at it that way. We had Stratford Regional come in and go through and said, we identified a number of ordinances that we wanted to go through, and they came through and helped us walk through, how to navigate that and what updates we wanted to navigate. So it was all posted, public hearing, so everybody was, the public was aware, so they could come in.
Yeah, I understand that.
No.
Because I do see the comeback thing as a possible trend due to the economy and everything like that. I just wondered if there's any possible way that this could be used, or just some sort of something that might not be in the best interest of Middleton. But no.
Looking for revenue purposes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good deal. Answered my question. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Anybody else?
Yes. Hi, Valerie Mark. I have a question on the document in the book right here. You were saying that ADUs, you can have like an attached, a detached, but in here it says or, which would be one.
No, I know we discussed this in length, and it was stated that you can have, and I'll verify that with John Nolan, but I know that you can have, they're talking about you can have attached and you can have it detached. And it's at the discretion, I think, of the board as well. But my understanding is when and I can find that out after I can text someone if I can get that answer.
But just like on page 11, it clearly states within or attached or detached. So that or makes it one.
I think
Which one's that, Valerie?
Page 11, center of the page, proposed amendment number 11.
Okay.
I think we have to look at the full ordinance.
But this is what people would be reading to vote on.
No, I understand, but I can certainly find out.
Yeah, so for one or more for, yeah, so yeah, should we say? This within or attached. So if somebody was to go directly by language, it would be one or the other.
And the paragraph above it as well, in article definitions for Article 36, to edit the definition of recognized physical disability. Why is it just a physical disability that we're allowing and not a mental disability? I work in mental health. Like, it should just be a disability.
What is the one for it?
Yeah.
No, because it's definition of, I believe we're gonna edit the definition of recognized disability and remove reference to so-called mother in law. I think it was, so basically we weren't
You're not touching the physical disability. What I'm saying is that we should. You're removing the so-called mother-in-law requirement, is how I'm reading it, to remove the reference to so-called mother-in-law requirement.
Right, it's because they're not, because now it's just an ADU instead, I think they refer to it in the zoning as a mother-in-law apartment, whereas really it's just generally going to be an ADU. It's
Yeah.
not going to be.
That I understand. My thing is the phrasing of recognized physical disability. It's just,
I have to look at the definition that's in the zoning board and.
those were just things I had to clarify on. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm trying to get an answer on those, so. If not.
Well,
Well, I'm,
we're waiting for the answer, right?
well, I am, but I mean, I don't know that I'm gonna have it in the next 5 or 10 minutes. I've sent out a text, so, I mean,
Give it a few minutes to see if we can get the answer, and
I mean,
that
I
way
can get you.
people at home.
I have it from here. I did have another question. How much do we have in the unassigned fund balance at this time?
Off the top, I don't have it in front of me. I believe I can get that for you as well. That's not really always a hard and fast number. But if you give me a minute, I can find it. So what I was told, I asked you, do you know if you can have a detached and attached ADU? And I was told yes. So that's from the planning board.
I think we need to run that through legal, because from my understanding, 4 and 8 are two very different legal standards. Thank you for looking for that.
Sure, no. I usually can put my hands on it, but obviously, you know, when the pressure's on. Okay, it was, oh, it's a separate page. Here it is. You know, I'm gonna say that, and then I don't wanna say that.
No, I mean, I think for that one, I would probably wait until
I can get it for you
the
halfway.
school budget, or what's
Town
called,
meeting.
yeah, town meeting,
I can give it to your town meeting.
because that's not
So
being
the
voted
reason-
on.
The reason I asked is because when I totaled up all the warrant articles that we're looking to
Yes.
take from that fund,
Yes.
I just wanted the town to be aware, and people who are voting tomorrow to be aware, that totals $148,049.79. If all of those go through, that will then come out of that balance. So I just wanted to see where we were. Is that a drop in the bucket?
Yes,
Or is that like 50% of it? Is that 200% of
We're
it?
actually
Yeah.
over what the state said.
Right, so yeah, so the state recommends you keep anywhere from 7 to 17%. And right now, we're above 17%. So if we use all the money for the unassigned fund balance for the warrant articles, that will bring us just down under, I think, the 17%.
7% of.
The total number of the unassigned. And I thought I had it. in there.
No, that's okay.
Because otherwise, we wouldn't be putting that forward if that was the case, because, you know, I mean, at least I would feel comfortable doing that.
Well, I think it also lets us know for the town meeting what we have.
Somebody's gotta ask, and I do, that's on my list of, it is on my list to pull out and to have available.
We always keep enough over and above the tuition for the school. Should the school not be able to make a payment, it will never not get paid.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Oh. 1.4 million is the unassigned. And we have, that's 21% of the number that they calculate. And so with the money that we have for unassigned, that'll bring us down to about 17%. If I can dig it, I can find it. Any other questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to
We'll see you all here tomorrow.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah.
To Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Could you come down and take a look at that whole situation on the road? Because we are in this car, it is now sunk below the road, and this last storm, and with all the water, it is now worse, taking out my driveway. So just
What water's taking off the driveway?
coming down, it's coming from this parking lot, going down the street, a wider river now, and just going right straight.
I'll take a look at
It's
it.
not going into the holes where it's supposed to go. So I just take a look at it.
I'll take a look at it. Yep.
Because we were hoping that that was going to relieve all of that situation.
It should.
That's a part.
I didn't see it today, but I'll check on it tomorrow.
Once the ice formed,
Yeah.
there was no place for the water to go.
Yeah, I know there's a swale here.
But it's not getting down in there, and as they say, now we're retired, it is sunk down below, and when the plows go by, you can hear the bang,
Yeah, well, it's gonna get a top coat. That's just a base coat.
okay?
Yep. So it is gonna get a top coat. Yep. And I'll take a look at it. Yep.
So I think the motion is to
Adjourn at 7:24?
all those in favor? Who's second? Bonnie made the motion. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.